Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you joined me today. Again, a vintage linen project from scrappy to happy. So last week I made 10 cards out of this dresser scarf. I love it. It's beautiful linen scarf with embroidery and this gorgeous tatting, and this is all that I had left, so I wanted to do justice and use every bit of the scraps. So I took my rotary cutter and I cut these roughly 2 by 6 for a good bookmark size. I used my Elmers Spray Bond and put that on some cardstock, and now I'm taking my Cutterpillar Pro. This is a rotary cutter. Every time I use this, the wheel sharpens itself, so it's a win-win. This has been a great paper cutter. It's good for cardstock. It cuts through laminate, everything. So I'm just giving myself a little 3-sided border here. As you can see, I don't have a border along the bottom. The tatting is the border. Similar to what I did on the cards, I'm going to leave that tatting in place because that in itself is an art form. Now, it doesn't bother me that the bookmark on the left is a little shorter than the ones on the right. Again, I'm working to do justice to use every scrap of this beautiful vintage linen. And the way I'm going to rectify that little shortness on the left is by putting these paper borders along the top, just using some scraps that I have in various shades of green. I liked using the green. It pulls out that little bit of embroidery that we've got going across there with the green chain stitch without taking away from the colors in that gorgeous tatting. So there's all 3 of my bookmarks. You can see how that rectified the shortest bookmark. Now they're all the same. Next, I took my printer and my home PC and printed up a few sentiments. They're all going to be different for each bookmark. Trying to do something a little inspirational and maybe relate it to books. So as you can see, I took some distress ink and my finger dauber and ran around the edges so that it kind of blends with the linen a little bit more. Here is a package of these little silk flowers from the Dollar Tree. Gorgeous. They're pulling out that color from the tatting. I'm going to remove the pearl because I don't want that dimension on a flat bookmark. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of this green cardstock that I used for the background of my bookmarks and punch out some of these leaves. All the supplies and dimensions for today's bookmarks can be found in the description below this YouTube video, so hop over there if you want to see what I used to adhere the linens to the cardstock, or about this leaf punch or the flowers or anything like that. So here we go. I love these little flowers. They actually have some veining on the petals, and after I laminate these bookmarks, I'll give you a close-up look on that, and you can see, you will be able to see the veining even through the laminate. So these little flowers are a win-win, adding just enough pop of a color to make these linen bookmarks stand out. All right, now I'm going to use some of my Aleene's adhesive here. This is a liquid glue, and I'm just going to try to vine this down the front of the bookmark and add a little more interest without covering up that chain stitch there in the green or any of the tatting. Now, this project is near and dear to my heart. This is a friend named Donna who asked me to do something with this whole dresser linen, and I was very humbled to be asked to do this. So I know she will find good homes for the cards and these bookmarks, and they mean something to her because it was probably a family member who did this beautiful handwork a long time ago. So again, I am very happy to work on stained and torn linens. I have heartburn to cut up good linen, so I won't do that. But if they have stains and holes and they're not being used, I love to repurpose them and give them a new life. So thank you for popping over here and going on this journey with me today and trying to use all of these scraps. So here I will get my little flowers put down. Again, trying not to cover up any of the handwork here. And you will see that all 3 of my bookmarks have a little bit of a different design, and they'll also have a different sentiment. So there's a close-up look. I hope you can see the veining on those little flowers. Here is a little reinforcement punch that I use quite a bit for my bookmarks. I think this is from We Are Memory Keepers. And I'm using that same color that I used in the center of all of those flowers to just do a little reinforcement at the top, where I will punch a hole for the ribbon at the top of my bookmarks. So I'll get that done. Pulling that color on up without detracting from the rest of the design or the color motif of the bookmark. It's just that simple. And then here is my laminator. This is actually a Scotch laminator from Walmart. It does a fantastic job on my bookmarks. I use some thermal laminating pouches. I can get 2 of these bookmarks on a 5x7 inch pouch, and then I used one and cut it in half so I don't waste any of my thermal pouches. Now the thing is, they have a little hinged part at the top, meaning it's not open at the top of the pouches. You want to leave that as is. So you can see I put the top of my bookmarks into that hinged area and then run them through the laminator. This is going to thermally seal your bookmarks. So these should last for a long time and preserve the linens. All right, now I know this is going to be hard to see. There's a little ghosting when you run this through the thermal laminator of where it has sealed on all the edges. You don't want to cut through that membrane. If you cut through the membrane, it's going to open that seal. So that's all I'm telling you, is be cognizant of it. It's a kind of a cloudy look, and I know it's hard to see on the video. Maybe you can see that little scalloped edge there. You don't want to cut through that. The same on the sides as well. Just be cognizant of that when you're cutting down the laminate after you've run it through. So again, I already punched this once, but I'm going to punch it again. And then what I like to do after I've cut my bookmarks and I've repunched through that hole is run them through one more time, even though they're sealed. This is just a little extra precaution to make sure that they're sealed well. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I hope you enjoyed this vintage linen project using the scraps that were left over after making 10 cards. If you're interested in that, that was called Dresser Scarf Cards. On my YouTube channel, you can go see what I did with the majority of that dresser scarf, and this is just what was left over with the remnants. So I am really proud to have been able to use all those scraps. It makes me very happy, and I'm glad to give these a new life. Thank you for popping by. I hope to see you again next week. Become a subscriber. Happy crafting, everyone.